and past chairman of the West Indies Rum and Spirits Producers Association. He is a past president of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce and was vice president of the Trinidad and Tobago Committee for Economic Development. In 1979, he received the National Shakonia Medal Gold for service to the nation and in the field of business development. However, the organization with which the name Thomas A. Gatliff is most synonymous is Angostura Limited. It was under his astute leadership as the first non-member of the Seagate family to be put in charge of the company that Angostura would emerge as a local giant and an international heavyweight. Under his guidance, Angostura won the Export Performance Trophy 1972 and the Exporter of the Year's Prime Minister's Award 1997 and 98. In 1985, Angostura was awarded the Hummingbird Gold Medal for its contribution to industry and received in 1995 its ISO 9002 certification, the first distillery in the Caribbean to achieve such a distinction. Thomas Alexander Gatliff has devoted 50 years of his life to developing not only Angostura, but also in making a significant contribution to the development of our country and its people, its governmental processes, and its growing maturity in the administration of its affairs, particularly in the economic and fiscal field. Above and beyond these public achievements, he is truly a very humble and dedicated family man, and has been a devoted and loving husband to his wife Rhonda, and father to his 3 children, David, Patricia, and Margaret. He bought St. Ignatius Bay on Gaspery Island in 1997 and spends practically all of his weekends there, surrounded by his family, siblings, grand and great-grandchildren, and close friends. He's a very keen sailor and owns a Peterson 37 sailing boat called Sea Wife, and enters races regularly throughout the Caribbean. Tommy is also an accomplished jazz pianist, and his signature number is Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. He is very fond of and often sings the famous calypso, Never Make a Pretty Woman Your Wife. Many men go through a lifetime as good people without making a significant change or contribution to the lives of those around them. Tommy is undoubtedly a good man, but he has also improved the lives and prospects of a very great number of people, both inside Angostura and within the country and region generally. His working life has been one of achievement, allied with a humility and courtesy, which is rare in a person of his position. And the standards of behavior which he has set, not only for himself, but for everyone working with him, have been quite remarkable. I would just like to add something on a personal note. I grew up in a business home where business was often discussed at the table and where other business people often visited for private or informal meetings. I was exposed to many stories on what was happening in the business world and more significantly in the country as a whole. Tommy Gatliff's name often starred in those discussions. And over the years, not knowing him, I developed an image in my mind of a 6'7" giant of a man without whom business in Trinidad could not function, and who instilled the fear of God in governments whose policies threatened to stifle business development. Well, Tommy, you may be a bit shy of 6'7", but you are a giant of a man, and your influence has been felt not just in business, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but across the region. We all owe you a great deal of gratitude. Thank you.
I'm warning men, be wise in choosing your girlfriend. Take my advice. Listen to me carefully. There is a lot to lose, for much depends on the one you choose. If you like happiness, comfort in life, unity, and a peace-loving wife. This your wife? This your wife here? This is not your wife? Where your wife? Your wife not here? But that can only be if you observe my philosophy. So if you want to be happy and live a king's life, never make a pretty woman your wife. If you want to be happy and live a king's life, never make a pretty woman your wife. All you got to do is just what I say, and you'll be always jolly and gay. So from a logical point of view, it's best to marry a woman uglier than you. Sing it out, boy. One more time. These are the reasons a pretty woman makes her husband look small. She's mean and very often causes downfall. As soon as you marry there and then she'll start to do the things that will break your heart. And when you believe she belongs to you, she calling this fella dead do. So from a logical point of view, it's best to marry a woman uglier than you. I said, do what you think, boy? Give me a thumbs up now if you like that, yeah? He clapping here, give me no thumbs up. Just me ask him for a round of applause. An ugly woman gives you your meals in time. She will always try to keep you in mind. At night when you lay down on your cozy bed, she will coax, caress you and scratch your head. Like a bird she'll call you nice names like Silver Beak, Toy Chooks, Totoy and Siki Mati. So from a logical point of view, it's best to marry a woman uglier than you. If you agree with me, give me 5. He's a brave man, boy. Yeah? Sing it out, boy. If you make an ugly woman your wife, you're guaranteed to be happy in all your life. She will never do things in a funny way to allow the neighbors to have anything to say. She won't disregard her husband at all by exhibiting herself to Peter and Paul. So from a logical point of view, it's best to marry a woman uglier than you. Now of course there are some fellas among us who can't find nobody uglier than them at all. Them are to take where they get. If you agree with me, sing this song. From a logical point of view, it's best to marry a woman uglier. One more time, from a logical point of view, it's best to marry a woman uglier than you.
Thank you, David. And I would now like to invite the only living inductee to the stage, Mr. Tommy Gatliff.
What could I possibly say after this fantastic evening? I certainly want to say that I think we have the most fantastic president that we could ever have had at this point in time. And all I have to say is if we want to join Patrick, we'll have to have an acceptance. We move in with Ian also. You know, the approval and endorsement of your peers is the most fantastic honor that anybody could have, particularly towards the end of his life. And I am extremely honored. I don't believe I deserve this, but nevertheless, I suppose on behalf of so many other people, I have to accept it. It was beautifully done. And I would like to believe that even though you have made me the honoree, that in fact you understand that business people build businesses by building good people around them. We at Angostura, all through the years, and I spent 50 years there, we never had a strike. Sometimes they call Lindley Abdullah, who's about as black as you can get, a South African. But that was about as bad as they got. But we never, ever had a strike. It is true, yes, we did take over Fernandez. There was an arrangement made whereby we bought his business towards the end of his term. Not one person lost their job, as far as I know. And that was a big opportunity for consolidation. We did well with it without having to hurt anybody. And I think that if I have to say, why am I standing here tonight? Is because I took enough business courses and had enough experience to understand a profitable business is built on the strength of the people around them. And that's what we have always done. The Chamber of Commerce, the same thing. I was involved at the time when we were fighting. Everybody wanted to have a Chamber of Commerce, and we were fighting to hold the Chamber of Commerce together. In fact, I nearly got into a physical fight one night with Krishna Narayan Singh and Bobby Montano, who were trying to steal Tobago from us. And they couldn't understand that we were not trying to steal Tobago from them. We wanted to build one strong, unified Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. It didn't come to pass in the end, but we still have a pretty powerful business community. And as we heard tonight, they're not sitting down doing nothing. They have a point of view, it's well researched, and they have a contribution to make. And that makes for a good country where people pursue policies that build business instead of policies that attempt to discredit and tear down business activity. I went through this chamber at a time when we had a lot of problems in the country. Heck of a lot of problems, some of which are reminiscent of the problems we have to face today, although smaller in scale. And there's no doubt about it. Whilst we had some differences of opinion, whilst some things had to be done that hurt some people, in the end, we came out all right. We're now moving into another phase. The big problem is we have so much money. We apparently don't know exactly what's the best thing to do with it. And we're doing things with it that may hurt at the same time as they may help. We have to get that adjusted, and I hope the Chamber of Commerce and Mr. Mute and all of his committee will play a big part in trying to make sure that we use it effectively and profitably to build the future and not to produce new problems that we can't deal with when the oil income falls. But then it's late at night, and I know you all don't want to hear me talk because most of you are tired of hearing me talk all the time, all the last 30, 40 years, at least the last 10 years. And you know my views very, very well. What I would like to say, just to kind of relieve the atmosphere before whatever it is we have to do again tonight, is to say, you know, a lot of things happen to you when you grow old, when you grow older. And very reminiscent of a little story that I was told about the old man who was walking along the road, and he saw a little boy sitting down on the curb crying. And he sat down next to the little boy, and he said, "Little boy, why are you crying?" And the little boy said, "Boo-hoo, I'm crying because I can't do what the big boys do. So the old man sat down next to the little boy and cried bitterly too. So you see, things change, but the problems tend to remain the same. And all I can say is the other awardees were posthumous, and I'm the only one, I suppose, who might be expected to say something. So I've said what I have to say, which is essentially, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And be assured, Mr. Gatcliffe, that we never grow weary of hearing you. I have a feeling that Percy Huggins would like to say something. Would you? We'd like to invite you up if you do. Please come up. No.
I'm sorry I didn't do this the first time I came up here, and I won't be long, I promise. I just wanted to say how honored I am to receive this award from the Chamber on behalf of my late grandfather, Sir George Huggins. And from the entire Huggins family, I thank you and accept it with pride. Thank you very much.
Well, it has been a wonderful evening, and I would like to invite Mrs. Joan Ferreira, Chief Executive Officer of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, for a vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you will agree with me that the people and the ambience made this a truly exceptional and enjoyable evening. It was once said, those who share our lives are precious and the best reason to be thankful. So it is fitting that we give thanks to the precious people who have shared our lives this evening. Our very special inductees, Mr. Thomas Gatcliffe, Mr. Joseph Fernandez, who represented Mr. J.B. Fernandez, Mr. Percy Huggins, accepting the award for Sir George F. Huggins. Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence, for being here this evening, and for sharing so much of your lives with us this evening. Thank you. Our inimitable president, Mr. Ian Collier, thank you for delivering that sterling address. Mrs. Angela Passad, our Senior Vice President, thank you for your warm opening and welcome remarks. A very special word of thanks to Mr. Larry Hawaii, Chief Executive Officer of First Citizens, and his team for supporting our efforts in producing this third annual Business Hall of Fame. Thank you very much, Mr. Hawaii, to you and your team. We had some wonderful, I guess I could call them biographers this evening. Mr. Ian Welsh, Mr. Christian Mute, Mr. Anthony Bobron, all past presidents of the Chamber. Thank you for your individual efforts in presenting so beautifully the biographies of our awardees this evening. Brother Noble Khan from the IRO, thank you for bringing inspiration and special blessings to this wonderful event and to the precious people who are here with us this evening. Thank you. A very special word of thanks must go to the esteemed members of our selection committee. Some of them could not be here this evening, but I know that they are with us in spirit. And you can see what a wonderful selection they have made this year. Mr. Adrian Campins, who has supported us again this year. He supported us with our 125th anniversary. He did all the research for us, and he has come forward again this year to help us. Thank you so much for your outstanding research. We had very precious young people with us this evening, the Alternative Quartet. Young, talented, and an impressive group. Thank you for delivering an exciting performance. And of course, our David Barrow and friends. What a joyful execution of songs from a special era. Where's David? Thank you so much, David. I was reminding him last night when we were doing the rehearsal. I said, David, you don't remember me? He looked at me, he said, no. I said, you know, before you became an official performer, he said, I'm always a professional performer. But he used to sing at a friend's home before he became a professional performer, and he has developed into such a wonderful executor of our original old-time calypsos. Thank you again, David. And of course, to Maurice Brash. Where's Maurice? There you are, Maurice.